Thank you so much for clicking on our video. My name is Skyly and I am the founder of Forever Counts Real Estate Group. If you've clicked on this video, it means that you are looking to brainstorm with other entrepreneurs, you are looking to grow your business, and that is so exciting because we want to collaborate with you. That is the whole point of the collaborative mastermind movement that we have created. So thank you again for clicking on the video. I hope you find tremendous value in every video that you watch, and I'm excited to have you on this journey with us. Tony is our ISA, so I feel like I should set the preface with that. ISA means Inside Sales Associate. So she is the person that makes phone calls for leads that come into our website, which is super important because there is actually stats out there that say if you don't talk to a lead in the first 5 minutes of them reaching out or trying to contact you, your conversion rate drops significantly, over 50% or something like that. So that's Tony's role. And our conversion rates have went up significantly since hiring an ISA. Tony is really great on the phone, just building relationships. That's kind of our whole mentality. We try really hard not to be sales people. We just want to build relationships with our clients. And when we do that, obviously, if they end up buying or selling from us in the future, then great. But we always just try building relationships and earning referrals that way. So we wanted to go over sign calls today because there's a number of ways that realtors get clients. But one way is when you have a for sale sign out there, people will call you and say, hey, I saw this house, and they want to look at it. Now, there are some pretty big, if you don't handle the phone call right, they could literally call you, ask you questions, and then never talk to you again. And that was a really warm lead that called you because they actually have the purpose of calling you because number one, they like the house. Number two, they're actually actively looking for real estate. So I wouldn't call it a cold lead. I would call that a really warm lead that you have the opportunity to actually convert if you ask the right questions. So we're going to go over that today. This script is literally gold. And we just direct the conversation through questions. So Tony and I are going to role play this, and then we'll kind of go over the different portions of the script and why they're important. And then too, as you practice the script, it'll obviously get more comfortable. You're not going to seem as scripted because you're going to make it seem, it's going to be more of your wording. You guys can hear my kid in the background. That's the mompreneur thing right here. Mom on entrepreneur. I'm tongue tied.
Mompreneur?
Mompreneur.
Is that what it is?
Mompreneur. Yeah. I don't know. It sounds weird now that I'm saying it.
Sounds worse.
Mompreneur.
I always think of, wow, how easy is this going to be once I don't have small kids? I
know.
The extra road bump at the beginning.
It's so funny. Huxon is actually going to daycare in July. I'm super excited because he's going to get to spend time with kids his age and bring some energy and learn so much stuff. Their brains are just crazy growing right now. And I think that he needs the stimulation. It'll be so good.
Has he not been in daycare? You have him home all the time with you?
Well, Cody, my husband stays home from, he takes care of the kids. So technically, yes. And then I come and go throughout the day, right? That's the beauty of our schedules. So the nice thing is that Cody was supposed to go back, but because I don't take realtors, well, I never paid into EI. I guess you have the option to, I never did. So then I didn't get maternity leave, but you know what? I wouldn't have wanted it anyway. That's not who I am. I was bored 7 days into my postpartum. I literally was get me out of here. He took paternity, and then our business did so well with him being home and me being available full time that he just was why am I going back? That makes no sense. That's what happened.
Perfect.
And so the only reason that I really have Hudson today is because Cody is gone getting everything ready for our trip this weekend. Little background on cool things that happen in owning your own business, right? Mom actually gets to go to work and dad stays home. It's kind of a cool little switch. Okay, Tony, I guess you're calling me because you are going to be the client. I will be the realtor who is going to convert you over to being one of my clients, hopefully.
All right. Ring, ring.
Skyly speaking.
Hey, this is Antonia. I saw your listing on 123 Main Street. I'd like to go see it right now. Is it available?
Antonia, thank you so much for calling. Yes, the house is available. In case we get disconnected, can I confirm that your number is 250-574-1096? Is that your number?
You were close. You just got the last four wrong.
I was making that up. That's funny.
I thought you were going to ramble it off. I was going to be mind blown.
So funny. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure, like I said, in case we get disconnected, I want to make sure that I can give you a call back. I would absolutely love to show you 123 Main Street, but our sellers do require 24 hours notice. Is there a time in the next few days that would work for you?
Yeah, anytime this week is good.
Awesome. Okay. Well, why don't we tentatively book Tuesday at 3:00? Does that work for you?
Sure. Yeah, that's good.
Perfect. And before we meet, is it okay if I ask you a few questions? Awesome. Okay. So what is it about this house that stood out to you?
I really like the curb appeal, and it looks like the homeowners took good care of their home. It looks like the right size
Yeah.
for us, and I like the location.
Yeah. It is a really nice house. You're right. As soon as I walked up to it, I was like, wow, this has been really well taken care of. So what size of house are you looking for then? Is it like this one has 3 bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs? Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, 3 bedrooms up, and then there's with the 2 bedrooms down, there would be some extra flex space for a den, maybe a hobby room.
Nice. I know you always have to have that extra space for some hobbies and stuff. How long have you been looking for a home in this market?
We just kind of started looking. We haven't thought about selling yet. Just we were driving by and saw a nice house and thought maybe if we were to make a move, that would be the one.
Yeah, that's totally fair. What is it about the current home you're living in that's working for you?
It's just not enough room for us. So not enough room to grow.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have kids or anything or?
We got 2 kids and a dog.
Cute. I have a full house as well. Are you hoping for more kids?
If it happens, we'll accept them. But 2 might be good.
Not a ball team, I'm
Nice to
assuming.
have the option. Like if we have it more, it'd be nice to have the house to put them in.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I feel that too. My house is perfect for us right now, but if we had another kid, the kids would be sharing rooms. So I get what you're saying. Who would be making this move with you?
Just my husband, the 2 kids, and the dog.
Nice. Okay. So in a perfect world, when would you like to move into a new house?
Well, like I said, we hadn't really started seriously talking about selling, but if we could get into that perfect house, then we would just go ahead and make the move whenever it could work.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that you want it to happen anytime. It's more like if the right thing popped up, then you would make the move happen.
I'd say so.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Do you have any previous experiences with real estate then? You said that you own your current home. So
Yeah, just an agent that we used to buy that home. They were okay. They were enough to get the paperwork done.
that's fair. Do you mind me asking if you're still in contact with them? Like, would you not want to use them again?
Yeah, we're not in contact with them.
Oh,
So
that's so sad.
we didn't plan on using them again.
No, that's actually like a really sad statistic. I've heard that so many times. It's normal. Don't feel too bad, I guess. So just to recap and make sure that we are on the same page, you said that you really like this one because it has really great curb appeal. You said that it has room for you to grow, which is very important because the house that you are in currently, it doesn't allow you to grow if you just wanted the option to grow right? And then you were talking about having a hobby room. Is there anything else that I missed?
I don't think so. And then we just want a large driveway and garage.
Totally fair. Okay. If I can find any other houses that kind of check those boxes, would you be open to looking at the same time on Tuesday?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay. So why don't I go into the system? I'll see what else I can find. I have you tentatively booked for 3:00, I think I said on Tuesday. Is that what I said?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I actually would say that in real life too. I'll be like, what did I say again? Yeah. We'll meet at 123 Main Street at 3:00 on Tuesday. And like I said, I'm going to go into the system, see if I can find any other houses that kind of check those boxes as well. Why don't I send them over to you via email? And if they are still available, then I can add them to the tour.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay. So what was your email?
A_Gwinovich@hotmail.com.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds great. Confirm email. Still have your phone number from before. Okay. Sounds great. I will touch base with you in the next few hours with some other listings. And then other than that, I will see you at 3 p.m. at 123 Main Street, Tuesday.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yes, no problem. Okay. How did it feel like going through those questions? Did it feel like I was like hammering you, or did it feel like kind of organic or?
No, it felt pretty natural. So, and it's always better, like, because I called you, so I actually wanted to talk to you.
Yeah,
which helped.
that's really fair. I do agree with that. I feel like sometimes too, like when I've heard scripting and then it's just like hammer, hammer, hammer on like the questions, but then like people kind of get like weird because they're like, why are you asking me so many questions?
I know, especially
Right?
like I find if I call them, it's hard to get through them all because like I don't want to keep them on the phone too long for the initial phone call. Because then it's
Yeah,
like, what
I
if
think
they think every time I call them, it's gonna be a 15-minute phone call when it's not.
I think just like reading their tonality too. I mean, like if you can tell that they're not like super into it, like cut it short. Cause I mean, the DISC assessment Zoom that we did, it talked a lot about different personality types. So if you have a D personality type, you're not going to be into like answering all these questions. You're probably going to be like, fire them off to me and I'll answer it. Where if you're an I personality, you're going to be like, oh, I actually really enjoy answering these and having this conversation. Right. So I think reading the client is really important, but also setting up the preface of like, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Because now I've asked you for permission. So now you can't really be mad that I'm asking you.
True.
I think that one really helps too.
Into my
What, do you
script.
mind if I ask you a few questions?
I should throw that into my script. Like I do say like, well, I guess I just start asking questions. So yeah, I don't know. But I do
But
go by
again,
their tone. Like I
yeah,
have a few different scripts depending on what their tone is.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like if they are like really warm and friendly, like I don't even think that you'd have to ask for
Yeah.
permission. But if
Yeah.
they're kind of seeming like they want to get off the phone, then you're like, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? I just want to get to know you a little bit better before I see you. Right. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
and then they're like, oh, okay, fine. Because what are you going to be like? No, nobody says no. Or
Oh, they do.
far and few between. They do say no, but it's
Yeah.
like the amount goes down significantly, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah. Can you
There's
bring
this
up
one
the,
client. Go ahead.
oh, I
I
was
was
going to
gonna
say, just
say-
bring up the thing again and then tell me your story.
There's one client right now in KB Core. Every time I call him, he asks me to call him back in like 10, 15 minutes, and then he doesn't answer.
Oh
Like,
my God, that's so funny.
just tell me you don't want me to call you. And I don't call him often enough to remember that that's that guy. So I'm not just saying, do you actually want me to call you or do you want me to stop? So I
Yeah,
forget
put
to
in a
ask.
note. Put in his notes. Do not let him tell you to call him
Yeah,
back.
he's gonna do it. Ask if he
Yeah.
actually wants to call or not.
So funny. I really, there's two questions that I do want to point out that I actually really do like. I mean, I like them all, but the one that is like, what is it about your current home that's not working for you? I feel like is super good because I mean, one, you need to know what they don't like. Because I'm not going to say, for example, if it was me, my current house, the thing that I don't like about my current house is the fact that my kitchen is looking at my front yard, not my backyard. And so my kids are playing in the backyard and I can't see them from the main part of the house. It drives me freaking crazy. So when I tell you what kind of house I'm looking for, I feel like I might not mention that. I would just tell you my ideal floor plan, but I wouldn't tell you my pain points. So I really like that question because it does talk about pain points so that when we do go start looking at stuff, then you're not going to be like trying to show them houses. You wouldn't try showing me a house that is like the backwards floor plan that I told you that I don't like, but might not have told you unless you asked me that question. I hope that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to weed out the homes that have the kitchen that face the front, like right off the bat. And you're not wasting everyone's time.
Yeah. And then another one that I like talking about pain points as well. And this one, Erin, you could probably even use for yourself, is like, do you have any previous experiences in real estate? So like, while like we would say, do you have any previous experience? Well, I mean, I guess you could use that too, but I'm just thinking about how a lot of times, like it'll open up the window for them to tell you if they had a good experience with their agent last time or not. So, I mean, the way that Tony and I were talking about it, it was like you weren't super forthcoming with information, but sometimes people would be like, oh yeah, like we're not planning on using them again. Like I haven't even heard from them since the last time. And then you could say like, oh, like, do you mind me asking what it was that kind of made it so that you didn't want to use them again? Like just obviously in like a very gentle way. And I mean, that's really good too, because then you get to know their pain points so that you don't make the same mistake that other agent did. And again, even in the mortgage broker world, it would be like, oh, what did they do that you didn't like so that I don't do that for you? Because then again, we talked about earning referrals and that's
Yeah, that's
one
a
of the
really
ways.
interesting way to put it. Because of course I asked them like, are you a first time home buyer? Like that kind of thing, but it doesn't really open up that door for them to
Yeah.
explain about their previous experience. And I could probably get some more insight because yeah, you never, sometimes they complain about something that someone did in the past, but it's kind of like, it's just, they didn't like it, but it's not necessarily like that negative of a thing, or it's like a very common thing that that person did that annoyed
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that we always try and build our business. I mean, I built my business around my previous experiences. And I remember that like, I felt like the agent that sold me my house kind of just like I felt like she didn't even hand me keys the day that I got possession. And I was like really upset. Like I didn't get a walkthrough or anything. I felt like I looked at like 2 houses and she sold me a house and I was like, wow, she just made so much money from like literally talking to me 2 times. And then I never heard from her again. And I didn't get my real estate license like for a few years after that. So I was like, number one, I never want to do that for my clients. Cause again, like I'm building my business off of how I felt, off of the negative things that I felt were important for the transaction. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And same with, there was another agent that I used and his communication was really bad. Like he just wouldn't answer me. And so again, now I put communication like on the forefront of our business because I feel like it's really important because it was something that happened to me that I wasn't happy with. So if we can find those pain points for our clients, then we can build our businesses and like grow to obviously give better services as well. I like that question a lot. Timeline, I feel like is quite important as well. And again, this is probably like another question for like the mortgage broker world. Like when people say like, what's your timeline like? Like, when are you hoping to make this move? The reason for that is that a lot of people say like, oh, 6 months. And it's like, as soon as you start the wheels turning, it ends up being like half. I don't know if that happens to you
Totally.
in the mortgage broker world, but
All the time. Yeah.
as soon as they get those numbers, they just like get really excited and they're looking at stuff. So knowing their timeline, I think is important because we can like cut it in half because otherwise we don't know how motivated they are. Oh, there was one more on the tip of my tongue that I thought was like a really important question that would be for both the mortgage broker world and real estate world.
What about the who's making the move with you, like the decision makers?
Yes, Tony, you're right. That was the one. I was like, oh, I was on the tip of my tongue. Knowing who's making the move too, right? So, I mean, for us, a lot of times it's like one party that's calling and then all of a sudden the other person's like a huge decision maker and you can't have people moving forward in the process when you don't have both decision makers on the same page. So I think it's important to ask that question and then obviously make sure that you have a consultation with both of them so that they're on the same page. Huxon's trying to escape if you guys are wondering what he's doing. You can just book it into the front yard. The other one that I actually really like that is not on this script and I feel like is really important, and we'll have to add this to here later. Jason actually taught me this because I'm in the like Sims coaching platform. Anyways, and so the question is, like, so tell me, Tony, in your mind, what is the next step that you would need to make in order for you to buy your next home? And then that way they're like thinking about like, oh, like, what is it that I actually have to do? Because people get excited with like looking at homes, but then they don't really realize like all the work that kind of has to happen on the back end. So that's like a really gentle way of asking, like, do you have your ducks in a row without making it seem like you're drilling them that are you pre-qualified, right? So again, it would be like, okay, Tony, so tell me, like in your mind, what would be the next step that you would have to make in order to move into your next home? And then you'd probably be like, oh, well, I would probably have to sell this house. Or you know what? I really need to talk to my broker. Or like maybe I need to actually consult with my husband or partner or whatever, right? So funny. But I think that one's a really good question as well.
It's a really good way to figure out where they are in the process. Like talking to your husband about it, that's like very early. So.
I know. I was watching Bones the other day though, and like Angela, the one of the women in the, I don't know if you guys have watched the show. There's one woman and she was like, her husband ended up finding like sales brochures of houses in Paris. And he was like, are you wanting to move to Paris? Like they didn't even like talk about it. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, just like don't even talk to each other. I wonder if other people do that too. Well, they'll start looking online, but haven't actually talked to their partner yet.
Yeah.
I look
How
all the time.
do you ask them, like, how much do you get into it about like kind of pre-qualifying them before you start showing them houses?
Honestly, I give I give freebies. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll go meet them in person. Like I do try and talk to them in advance. And I mean, the hope is that even if they aren't pre-qualified, number one, I can help them get there because I can connect them with the right people. And then two is that eventually they will be qualified as long as they take the right steps. So I try not to be, there are some agents out there and I'm on some group chats that are like, I will never show a house that the client isn't qualified for. And it's like, well, number one, you need to build a relationship with them. So, I mean, don't like waste everyone's time and go out for like months on end. But at the same time, our team does what's called exploratory tours. And during those exploratory tours, we're like learning about each other, making sure that like we are doing a process of elimination, not selection. And then in those meetings too, like we're talking about like the steps to move forward. And I feel like you can't move people from point A to point B without like seeing them and talking to them. So I do meet with people who say, for example, sign up to the website and haven't talked to a broker yet, 100%, because I don't care if they're going to buy a house tomorrow or if they're going to buy one in like a year or like 3 years. Like it doesn't really matter to me, especially since like if I do a really good job, they're going to send me referrals even if they haven't bought with me yet. So I feel like, again, having the mindset of just like building those relationships is, I don't know. I feel like that's the right way to go about it, especially since like I've earned referrals from people who I've never even sold houses from or sold a house to. So
yeah, I feel like it's like the same in the mortgage industry. Some people are like, no, we won't even talk to you until you've like sent us every document. And it's like, well, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, you need to kind of like warm up. You need to get to know each other. You can't just expect. So yeah, it is. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. And I just feel, I mean, how are you supposed to help someone move from point A to point B without trust too, right? I would never meet someone and be like 100% trust you right off the bat. Like you need to like get to know someone. And then like when you do trust them, then you can kind of move through the process. And then again, not only that, like some people start looking super far in advance and like maybe their credit score is not that great, but they want to repair it. I would love to be a part of the journey for them to actually like repair it and buy it. I had one client that their credit wasn't super great. It was this like young Filipino family. They had 4 kids. We wrote on so many houses and they just kept not getting it because their credit score wasn't high enough. So CMHC kept turning them down, even though they'd get approved by the banks. Anyways, and it was like the 5th house and we finally got it for them. And like, we all cried together. And I was like, I can't believe that we got you into this house. And like, I feel really privileged to be a part of the journey, even though like it was a trek for sure. But then at the same time, like we got them there, the broker and I'm like, it's like, I don't know, it's really rewarding, right? Like
Those
I would hate.
They're going to refer you more than anyone probably.
Yeah. And then they would always be like, I don't want to waste your time. I was like, you're not wasting my time. Like, it's not a big deal. Number one, if I go look at a house that you don't qualify for, guess what? I just learned market knowledge because now I've actually physically seen that house. And if someone else asks me about it, I can be like, hey, yeah, I saw that. Yes, I've seen enough houses in this area. Yes, this is what bang for your buck you're getting. I just built myself market knowledge. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually go into this house and learn about the neighborhood, etc. But on top of that, I always just like going and hanging out with your friends too, right? Like there's most people that I end up working with, like I end up becoming friends with, or that like I enjoy spending time with. If I don't enjoy spending time with you and I don't actually like, and we don't get along, then we probably shouldn't be working together in the first place. So I would rather show people a bunch of houses and actually I'm like, I'm just going to go hang out with so-and-so for a few hours. It's like going for coffee. You don't go for coffee with the intention of getting something out of your friends. So, right. So I think I always just set it up thinking about it that way. And then that way I'm not upset when nothing happens.
Yeah. And you can set a relationship that way by not hanging out with someone to get something every time.
And I always feel like there's a silver lining. Like I said, I like learned market knowledge for whatever reason. Right. And then I actually have clients that I know I've told you guys these stories a number of times, Tony. I'm thinking of a couple off the top of my head. number one, there was one guy that I was showing houses to here in Kamloops, and then he ended up randomly buying a house in Kelowna. And I'm like, I just imagine another agent being like super upset about it. And I was like, oh my God, congratulations. Like, da, 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 da. Like, I was happy for him. I was happy that he got into the market. He got a sweet house in Kelowna. Sucks that he didn't buy through me, but I was happy for him nonetheless. And then he just sold that place and bought here. So I'm like, good thing I didn't burn that bridge. And then same with, I have another client that I wrote an offer on it twice. I wrote 2 offers for them. Some crazy stuff happened and they never ended up buying the houses. But then they just sent me like $1 million client, and I've never even sold them a freaking house. So I don't know. I feel like it always kind of pans out. Just like,
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's value in all relationships.
yeah. But yeah, so pre-qualifying, I mean, obviously I do have conversations with them about like moving them from point A to point B. But I think the intention of the conversations and like the meetings are to help them get what they want, not to help them get what I want. So
And I think people pick up on that it's not about us, it's about them.
Mhm. There was Zed Ziegler. It's like I can't remember his exact like quote, but it was pretty much like, if you want to get all that you want in life, you just have to help enough people get what they want, which I think is like super powerful. It's like, it's very true. Like, if you can help people get what they're wanting, like it all just comes back anyway. I have a very strong belief in, you're like, I know you do. I manifest the shit out of things and it always happens.
My puppet.
Karma's real.
It is. Anyways, so I feel like that's good for today, unless you guys have anything you want to add.
No, that was good.
That was
I think
awesome.
so too. Convert those sign leads, some good little nuggets on what you can say to people in order to like get to know them better. So
Without being too direct.
yeah, I know. Well, I mean, there's things that you need to like learn. Like, there's things you need to learn about them, but you don't want to be like a snatch about it.
Yeah.
Like, I would never ask someone, oh, are you pre-qualified? Like, that's not the right way to go about things at all.
I don't either. I just say, do you know what your budget is?
Depending how they answer. Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. Thank you
Perfect.
guys so much for coming today.
Okay,
See you
thank you.
next
Have a good
week.
weekend.
Okay. Bye guys.
Nice seeing you guys.
Bye.